So guys, welcome to another happy Monday edition of Billboard's Hot 100 Top 10 Facebook Live. I'm Trevor.
I'm Gary.
And as you guys know, this is the place every week where you guys get to find out the top 10 of the Hot 100 before anybody else.
That wasn't a sarcastic happy, was it? Said another happy Monday.
I was trying to get the people, get them hyped.
Say it like you mean it, Trevor.
Was that, how did I, oh my God. Gary's, tone policing already. This is the best way to start off my week. But yeah, here we are.
Apparently it is a happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yes.
Happy Hot 100 Top 10. As you guys, if you tuned in last week, you found out that Ed Sheeran once again was holding strong at number one. That made 11 weeks. So this week, of course, we'll see if he can join the Dirty Dozen Club. I don't know. Okay.
That I had no problem with.
Yeah.
That I believe that.
Yeah, okay, so we'll see if he joins the Dirty Dozen. As Gary kind of teased already on Twitter, if you saw, there are 3 new songs in the top 10 this week, so the board's going to get shuffled up a little bit. And any other pre-show announcements, Gary?
One of those top 10s that's new is a debut on the entire chart. So, song that a lot of you guys have been anticipating.
What could it be?
It makes a debut in the top 10. So we'll get to that and we'll see, if Ed Sheeran is number one again. Ready to kick it off?
Are we teasing some cues today?
Oh, yeah.
Make
we
sure
have your
that
questions. Yes, we want your questions more than usual this week. We'll have the iPad. We always want your questions.
But if you've been saving a few,
we
a few
really-
gems over the past couple of weeks, this is
really
the week
want
to get
them.
them out.
Yes. So we'll be watching your comments along. Let us know any questions you have. As always, you can hit us up on Twitter afterwards. And the Sharpie podcast this week, too, will go even deeper into the Hot 100. But yes, get your questions in now as we count down the top 10.
And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Coming in at number 10 this week on the Hot 100 is the Chainsmokers with Paris. So it's down 1 spot from number 9. If you guys remember, a few weeks back, it got to number 6 on the Hot 100. So sliding back a little bit. Other big Chainsmokers news this week, of course, is their album Memories Do Not Open. Debuts at number 1 this week on the Billboard 200 chart. After it came out, did obviously a very solid debut. Gary's already tuning in here to the iPad, getting ready. So number 1 album and already kicking things off in the top 10. And as you guys may remember, we're keeping track of Chainsmokers in the top 10. This is their 50th straight week in the top 10 on the Hot 100. So they're only behind at this point Katy Perry, 69 weeks, and Drake's 51. So if they hold on in the top 10 next week, they're going to tie Drake 2 more weeks, and they'll make a solid year in the top 10. And I guess 19 more weeks, and Katy Perry's fallen too.
Well, I was going to go all the way to 50 more weeks. They'll have a Hot 100 weeks in the top 10.
If they can somehow make a whole another year of top 10 hits, which I mean at this point, they're popping out singles left and right.
I feel like it's almost not entirely impossible because it sounds like there are hits on the new album. Say they put out another big hit that lasts for a while. They could time it.
They're going to want to be working that 100 weeks in a row. That's a lot of work.
It'd be a lot of work, but you figure maybe 3 singles that all kind of hit at the right time.
Well, I mean, if you're listening, Disruptor, there you go.
Yeah, that would be 2 straight years.
Yeah.
In the top 10.
Yeah, but of course, the record's coming up. Yeah, next week they'll tie Drake if they can for 2nd place, and within 2 weeks of a year.
By the way, everyone so far is asking about Gaga, The Cure. That seems to be the only question you guys want to know.
So we say that for the end?
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end. So
we'll address The Cure.
We see your comments about that. So keep them coming, but we will ask, we'll answer your questions about that. Okay, number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. Moving on from number 10, it is down from number 6. Last week, Sam Hunt, Body Like a Backroad. So even though it's down, it actually gains in airplay, gains in streaming. Number 1 on the Hot Country Songs chart for a 10th week.
Yeah.
So we said last week it's a pretty big deal for a country song to be in the top 10. First country song in the top 10 in 4 years since Cruise.
Yeah, since Cruise by Florida Georgia Line, which also got some help from that Nelly remix. So Sam doing it all on his own. That's even more impressive.
Well, with a little help from his fiancée at the ACMs.
Yeah.
About a week ago. He sang it to her.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago on the broadcast. That pushed it into the top 10 last week. So it's down a little bit after that, but still in the top 10, and now it's crossing to pop radio. So this could wind up being a pretty decent hit as we head spring, maybe even into the summer.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it not that I was expecting it to, but the fact that it kind of didn't do that 1 week bump and then kind of collapsed back
Right.
is really a good sign for it.
Plus, there are 3 new songs in the top 10 above it.
So yeah,
So if there weren't for those, it would perhaps hold it at number
At
6.
least hold, yeah.
Peak. So yeah, holding on in the top 10, same on.
All right, we've arrived at the first of our 3 new songs in the top 10 this week. Coming in at number 8, brand new to the top 10, is EXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert. This is, yes, EXO Tour Life. I like the way he spells life.
So why is it
legit.
LLIF3?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I should.
But
should
it's
I?
pronounced, we know it's pronounced life, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the
I know.
where the Uzi stands.
Yeah, let us know, guys.
They'll school us. In any case, yeah. So Lil Uzi Vert is up from number 16 last week, so making an 8-spot jump up to number 8. It's his second top 10 overall. If you guys remember, he was featured on Migos' Bad and Bougie, which hit number 1 for 3 weeks earlier this year. So Lil Uzi Vert making a quick return back to the top 10. Really, if you guys have seen the Lil Uzi Vert challenge with the shoulder shimmy kind of dance going on for a while, that's finally starting to catch up on charts and pay some dividends. So definitely boost the streams. Of course, it's been a monster streaming song. It's number 5 this week on the streaming songs chart, getting 33 million streams this week. So a huge number for him, and of course, lifts him right up the Hot 100. And I like this new black look we got going. That's sleek.
Because it looks cool, Gary. That's the reason it's spelled that way.
Yeah, Gary.
Like I know about cool.
He said it, not me.
What I know. Too much laughter on that one. But, all right, moving on to number 7 on the Hot 100. It is also another new top 10. Future, Mask Off.
Future.
So the song we just heard, it's the Lil Uzi Vert Challenge. This is the Mask Off Challenge.
Yeah.
So 2 songs in a row that are literally the challenge is just either the name of the artist or the song. So another viral. This one's a little different, right? This is people making their own videos, whether they're dancing along to the track or playing violin or flute.
Yeah, I mean, like the flute has kind of been a little thing going in future music for a while now. But yeah, a lot of it is people on Twitter, Instagram who are just getting out their orchestra instruments and playing right along to it. And I mean, it's kind of cool to see the violin or the bass or these instruments that you like.
We never get to talk about in the top
most people
10.
don't think about
Yeah.
especially for with hip hop music coming together, and most of them are blowing up, and it's kind of cool to see people too who you wouldn't think they're hip hop fans or would be into it, and
Well, we keep
blowing
seeing
it up.
this year a lot of these rap hits, hip hop hits, they're just taking over virally like that. And everyone is just the mannequin challenge.
Yeah.
All these different challenges. They're just sort of, they're not restricted to any genre. They're just totally taking over pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like Black Beatles, the Mannequin Challenge doing that. I mean, Juju on that beat, Watch Me, all these little dance crazes for the past 2 years almost, it seems like, always keep popping up. And, so I think some people thought that by now that would have been kind of a 6-8 month kind of window strategy. But here we are 2 years later, and, social media challenges are still blowing songs up.
Yep. So it hits the top 10. It's up from number 11 to number 7. It's Future's second top 10. His first was in 2013 as featured with Drake on Lil Wayne's Love Me. Just kind of thing, all the success he's had on the charts.
Yeah,
on the
5
album
number
charts.
1 albums.
Yeah,
and
I think 54 Hot 100 hits. It's his second top 10.
Yeah.
So look on the bright side. Cool. He's got his second top 10.
Future's looking bright out there.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, congrats to Future making that top 10 move. Moving on up to number 6 this week on the Hot 100, we got I Spy, Kyle featuring Lil Yachty. So the song is down 2 spots, number 4 last week. So far, that's been its peak, that number 4 position. And even though it does slide down in its overall Hot 100 position, it's still up across the board in all metrics. Kind of get one of those weird quirks of a lot of songs moving up and debuting kind of high in the top 10 overall. But Kyle is still gaining across the board. Number 14 this week in streaming and 13 in sales. The airplay is really starting to catch up for the song. It really was a streaming hit before, and now moving into the top 25 of radio.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
solid numbers all around.
Doing well at pop radio too, because it's poppy. It's a
Yeah, I mean the hook that's got a little bounce to it. Yeah,
it's a happy song for another happy Monday.
that's it. What can you say? Kyle knows how to get them.
All right, we're halfway through the top 10 this week. Again, keep your comments coming here. Yeah, I know you guys keep asking about Gaga. Again, we mentioned we will get to where Gaga might debut on
Anything
the Hot
on
100.
Billboard this week, like this past weekend, has been just the Cure, the Cure, the Cure.
Yeah. So we will get to that. Yeah, keep your comments coming. All right, top 5. Let's hit the top 5
All right,
of the top 10.
Halfway up.
It is
Just like we started with 10, we'll keep it going with 5.
once again the Chainsmokers. Something just like this. We said before, new #1 album on the Billboard 200. Their first full length. They had a couple EPs.
Yeah.
Previously, this song is on there. Paris at number
Yeah.
10 is on there. Seems like, as we said, there are other songs that could wind up being singles, could wind up being hits. It seems like Break Up Every Night is one that is being targeted as maybe a potential single based on Elvis Duran's morning show on Z100 New York. Played it. It's selling fairly well. It's catchy.
That'd be the first Drew Taggart only song, right?
Yeah, it's not featured.
Like he wasn't credited. I mean, there's a vocalist not credited on Paris, but
Right.
there is obviously another
He's
singer there.
getting more confident with each hit.
Okay, Drew taking full ownership of the solo, not frontman role, not solo role.
You don't get rid of.
I don't- yeah,
there's
gosh,
still,
I don't wanna-
Still a duo.
There's still time, yeah.
And what's interesting too about this song, it hits the top 5 on the radio songs chart. It's Coldplay's first ever top 5 on that chart. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, Viva La Vida got to number 8. It was tied with that last week.
Okay.
This goes to number 5 this week. You just think about that. How long Coldplay's been around? This is now their highest charting radio hit in their entire career.
Sick. That's yeah, that's
It took
kind of a weird, like, yeah, you think maybe sometime in that Viva La Vida era would have done something. Maybe after the Super Bowl last year a little bit, but
right. But you think too, when Coldplay started, how old were the Chainsmokers back then?
when did Coldplay start?
I
Like
think-
2000?
Well,
Like-
that's when they first charted, but I think they got together in '96.
Oh, because they got together like UCL or London.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So
yeah.
you figure the Chainsmokers were kids. And they wouldn't have
yeah,
known that
yeah,
this
they
would
probably would have
become
been, yeah.
their biggest hit.
Yeah. Well, look at that. Chainsmokers bringing them back around.
Yep.
All right. So leave the Chainsmokers there for now. Moving on up to number 4 this week. It is the one you've been waiting for. Sign of the Times, Harry Styles. So the song debuts at number 4 this week. Obviously, a lot of people have been anticipating this song as Harry's first solo release since the, I guess, the hiatus of One Direction at the end of 2015. So yeah, the song, a couple things to dive into, so we'll go ahead and get into that. It is the best-selling song of the week. It sells 142,000 copies. And because this song debuted at number 4, and if you guys remember last year, Zayn's Pillow Talk debuted at number 1. One Direction is the first group to have 2 of its members have top 10 debuts on the Hot 100. Zayn also had another top 10 debut with the I Don't Want to Live Forever song with Taylor Swift. So Zayn really racking up those top 10 debuts.
So let's recap that for a second. 'Cause
Okay.
That was a lot of interesting stuff, and it's all so interesting. Let's just make sure
We'll
that
walk it back.
people
Okay.
realize how kind of a big a deal that is. One Direction is the only group, as you said, Trevor, whose members, at least 2 members, have had debuts in the top 10 on the Hot 100. The Beatles never did that. Other big groups haven't done that. So to have both Zayn and now Harry Styles both start in the top 10, never been done
I
before.
guess there's kind of a caveat there that a lot of, I mean, top 10 debuts are much more common in this kind of era than they
Right.
were back when the Beatles were going solo or Destiny's Child or something.
Right.
Because a lot of groups have had members who eventually did get to the top 10. Jackson 5, like we said, Destiny's Child, Beatles.
Right.
But there is something to be said that, the anticipation is so high when they come out that they can't debut top 10.
And plus, One Direction have the most top 10 debuts among all groups. They've had 5, so just tells you that first week when a song comes out by either the group or any of the members, everyone's waiting for
There's
it.
a real concentrated fandom
Yeah.
there, yeah, ready to buy it.
And we did mention, the facts are the facts. Zayn's song started with 267,000.
Yeah.
This song starts with 142,000.
So if you're a Zayn fan, that's a point in the scoreboard column for you. And
It is. They're different sounding songs. You could say that Pillow Talk is maybe a little bit more in line for the current sound of pop music, and Harry's kind of taken the 70s rock turn on this song and put out something a little more unexpected.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a longer song. It's 5.5 minutes. There's all different ways you can look at it. Still a great first week. Top 5 debut.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder what the fandoms are.
I
Probably,
know. I'm just throwing that out
Throwing
there.
them
The other interesting fun stat is the Prince angle.
Oh, okay.
Sign of the Times.
Okay.
Prince
yes.
had a song called Sign of the Times back in
And an
1987.
album called Sign of the Times,
Yeah, the
too.
album. That song got to number 3 on the Hot 100 almost about 30 years ago. And 30 years later, there's another Sign of the Times in the top 5 at number 4.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when he announced the song title on the 30th anniversary of the album coming out. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't coincidence, but a lot of people kind of picked that up as like, whoa, this is a passing of the Sign of the Times. And I'm sure plenty of people saw that Harry Styles was on Saturday Night Live this past weekend, was the musical guest there. He sang Sign of the Times and another song from the album that's coming out on May 12th. The album will be out. Sang the song Ever Since New York, which I think got a
little poppier.
Nice reception.
Yeah, it seemed a little more straight ahead pop. Someone says, so you're comparing Harry and Zayn with the Beatles, followed by at least 4 question marks.
Here we go. Yeah, just in terms of achievements.
Yeah.
No one's putting any eggs in any greatness baskets.
Yeah, and someone else said Harry didn't go for what might have been expected, did something a little bit different, followed the sound he wanted to make, whether it's completely different from what's on pop radio right now. So really all different ways you want to look at it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially if the album, what lane the album ends up going in overall, if Sign of the Times is more of a standout or more representative.
Right. All right, we're up to the top 3 here on the Hot 100.
Yeah.
You guys are already making your
climbing.
predictions for what you think is number 1. Someone says, just come on and say it.
Well, let's go.
Might as well do that then. Number 3 on the Hot 100 is Kendrick Lamar and Humble. Debuted last week, number 2. So down to number 3 this week. It didn't have that big of a drop-off in streams. So it had a huge streaming week last week.
Yeah.
Debuted with 50 million, 43 million in its second week. So that's pretty big still.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, all the anticipation about the album coming out and the news surrounding that with the track list, and artwork on Tuesday, album itself on Friday, that definitely kept Kendrick in the news and people really excited about the album.
And the album being Darn, is that what?
If you, yeah,
Gosh?
yeah, that's our PG audience. We'll call it that. The album's called Damn. Period. Came out on Friday last week. Seems to be, at least the songs on Spotify are streaming pretty well. Looks like it could be in line for a good debut next week.
Right. And that should help the song going. Obviously, next week when the album debuts, there'll be a buzz on that. But it seemed like this is going to be
Around. It's
be
gonna
around
stick
for a bit.
around. Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're up to the top 2. Trevor.
Oh boy, 2 left to go. What's gonna be number 1? Well, let's find out what's number 2 first. Number 2 this week on the Hot 100, once again, is "That's What I Like" by Bruno Mars. So the song moves back up to from number 3 last week. So trading places with Kendrick Lamar. It's 4th week at number 2. So been holding a little patient in the runner-up spot, but still climbing in some metrics. It's number 2 this week, again in airplay and in digital sales. Number 6 this week on streaming. Still topping the Hot R&B Songs chart for a 9th week. So Bruno Mars is still holding strong. 4 weeks at number 2, though. Can't quite get over that hump thanks to one guy who's holding strong once again.
Number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for a 12th week. Ed Sheeran, Shape of You. So number 1 again.
The Dirty Dozen. He's there.
Holds on for another week. Allie Coleman says Ed is not going to break Mariah's record.
It feels like, this is always the time that the whispers always, is this going to be is it going to do this? As you guys, I'm sure, especially the lambs out there will know that Once We Day is the record holder on the Hot 100 for most weeks at number 1. Got 16 weeks in the winter of 95 to 96.
What are Boyz II Men fans called? Because it was a duet between Boyz II Men and Mariah.
I don't know what the fan art boys.
iPad, tell me what Boyz II Men fans are called. Does it work that way?
Ooh, Gary tried. He tried.
Does an iPad work that way?
We'll teach you a couple tricks later.
12 weeks, number 1. 10 weeks at number 1 in radio. It's still gaining in airplay, which is pretty crazy to be at number 1 for 10 weeks on the radio songs chart. Up again. The follow-up is already gaining as well, Castle on the Hill.
Yeah.
So that might be in the Hot 100's top 40 fairly soon. Debuts on the radio songs chart this week. So even with that happening, Shape of You is still not letting go.
No.
I will say it's down a little bit in overall points. Bruno is up a little bit, so the gap is closing. It's possible in the next week, maybe next week or two. It's still tough to tell. Bruno could take over. Something else could jump up. We don't know, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that Bruno is going to make a challenge for number one, is what it looks like.
Yeah, and a fun fact, of course, so with 12 weeks at number one, it's the longest running number one since Closer by the Chainsmokers, featuring Halsey last year. If Ed gets to 13 next week, it'll be the longest run since Bruno Mars. And Mark Ronson had 14 weeks with Uptown Funk, so I mean, you wonder if Bruno might want to get up there to protect his own record. You know, this would be interesting to see.
Yeah, so we'll find out. Next week also, I'm sure we'll see continued gains. Not sure, but you would think you'd see continued gains for Future. Lil Uzi Vert is really gaining, so they have a lot of momentum behind them. They'll probably jump. Chainsmokers is still gaining really well in airplay, so could be kind of exciting here going forward in the top 10.
And interesting to see, you know, where the Harry Styles song ends up again next week.
Yeah,
I know obviously a lot of the sales, you know, usually don't sell quite as well in the second week, so it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes up for him as well. And the video apparently, which is probably filmed, people have had stills a lot of it, so whenever that might be coming out, would make a move too.
So a lot of people are asking, as we've said, about
The Cure.
that 80s alternative rock band, The Cure.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about.
That's the hot news this week in music.
Friday I'm in Love was a big hit. Love song, Just Like Heaven. These were all big hits back.
Guess they weren't that big.
They were huge. You weren't born then, so you don't know how big.
I mean,
they
like
were.
I wasn't born when Billie Jean was out either, and I know that.
You guys obviously. There are people in the audience here who know The Cure.
There's
Leslie,
one
social
person
team.
in the audience who knows The Cure. Like I know The Cure, like I know that name, but I don't. I'm not too
His
crazy
birthday
about
is
that.
on Robert Smith's birthday is on Friday.
Yeah. Well, happy early birthday to Robert.
All right.
We'll fast forward to the
We
2017 version.
We
about,
talked about The Cure.
No,
we can move on now.
No, well, the 2017 version of The Cure, the new Cure that everyone will be talking about, of course, is the Lady Gaga single that came out of nowhere this past weekend.
Yeah.
She obviously performed, was headlining at Coachella, just said, hey, why not? Here it is.
Right.
And, I mean, the song's really been holding, like, lockdown, the number one spot on iTunes this past weekend.
Right. So A Million Reasons obviously had a big rebound after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It wound up being a pretty big radio hit. Got up to number 4 on the Hot 100, fell, but kind of hung around in the top 40 for a while. Turned out to be a nice sized hit, and instead of going back to Joanne, this song's come along, and this is the new radio song.
Is that it for Joanne? Was she gonna dive back into it after The Cure, or?
I think this is the official. It's going to radio next week officially, so it'll get its chance to become an all-out hit.
Maybe a Joanne re-release.
I think anything's probably on the table right now. It certainly sounds like it's in the pocket of what radio likes these days. A slight trap house kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I saw some sites calling it dance hall, and it was like,
yeah, I'm not sure it's
not now.
It's not quite. It's sort of that low key EDM down tempo sound that's been working for a long time now.
Yeah,
pop music.
Yeah. But dance hall, no. I really tried. I was like, where's the dance hall part coming? It didn't come. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it looks to be selling very well, at least out of the gate for these first couple days, makes for a really interesting, possible debut next week.
Yep, we'll be tracking it. We'll get projections of where it could debut.
Yeah,
it depends what the sales are. Radio is playing it already, even though Interscope Records is really pushing it for next week. But it's off to a start. It's getting some play so far. So we'll see what happens with that. One thing that you guys are asking a lot is "It Ain't Me" by Kygo and Selena.
Yes, we did say there were 3 songs in the top 10 this week. Unfortunately, that was not one this week.
It's in the top 11. Number 11. So it goes up from 13.
It's right here.
To 11. There it is. So gaining nicely. So if it has another week of gains, depending also what happens above it, could be in the top 10 going forward.
Yeah.
So it would be Kygo's first. We'll see if that happens. And right below it too, I think some of you guys are asking. Up 22-12 to a new peak.
Oh, yeah.
This was looking like it might have had a chance for the top 10 this week, but number 12, Julia Michaels and Issues So it goes 22 to 12. It was on sale on iTunes.
Yeah.
That helped it. Still a big hit in different metrics, but
And-
the sales pushed it up.
And yeah, Julia Michaels, obviously, for some people who may not know, really a big songwriter the past year behind some of the big pop hits, Justin Bieber, Sorry, a couple Selena Gomez songs as well. So definitely making her breakout from from just the songwriter path to performer as well.
Right. Here, you hold the Hot 100. So there's only so
I
many
get to hold the Hot
things
100?
I can do here at once.
Wow.
Julia Michaels, underrated songwriter. Not even necessarily underrated. She's written huge hits for Bieber and Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
So sort of that tie-in there at number 12. Getting some questions on Green Light by Lorde, which is top 10 at alternative radio. But you're going to page 2 on the Hot 100.
I am surfing. So Green Light is up this week. It's up one spot. It's 54 this week, so up from 55 last week. Seems like top 40's kind of.
Do we need to start calling it yellow light at this point? Because it may be slowing down. I'm not trying to be mean. I just can't avoid bad
Gary.
puns.
Oh, you can't. Now, that
clearly.
if Gary said one true thing on this entire broadcast, that is it.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of hitting some resistance at pop radio, at adult radio. It's doing well at alternative, but seems a little bit surprising how poppy it is, how it's.
But it is interesting, like, I guess as Lorde revealed the Max Martin criticisms of it last week, that, the way it was sonically constructed at least to him, sort of didn't seem to add up, which, and I mean, coming from a guy
it's tough
whose
to brush
sound
it
has
off.
dominated
Yeah.
top 40, like, if he's saying that doesn't sound off, that's no surprise that really that radio would agree, in a sense, right?
Yeah, I don't know, because to me it sounds like a song you might be hearing all summer, but it looks like at this point it just may not have that momentum behind it.
Any talk about, with the next single, as I know the album's still a ways away, coming out in June, but
Don't think so. I'm assuming the expectations were that the song would have been lasting up to the album release, and it may not happen. So we'll see. Maybe something else gets pushed more into the spotlight,
especially with this Coachella performance. Maybe some of that, get some good feedback.
So that's Green Light. What else do you guys want to know? Oh, Halsey, Now or Never. Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron
Halsey.
Godwin is asking about Halsey's new song.
Halsey debuts smack in the middle at number 50 this week. So really that's what the first song from her new album coming out in June as well. The Hopeless Fountain Kingdom set sail. I think first week of June. Anyway, the song does debuts this week at number 50 on the Hot 100.
She's got the momentum of Closer
Yeah.
behind her, so that's helping. A little bit more of a pop turn
Yeah.
than, say, New Americana. So pretty good start for Halsey.
Seems like the streams are the biggest contributor at this moment.
Someone's asking about Bruce Springsteen. Is he on the chart?
It's not 1985, so not really.
No Springsteen this week.
It's okay.
We
Bruce,
love
when Bruce was owning the charts, he was owning them. I'm just saying.
Just checking. Just making sure.
I mean, the fact that the boss has plenty of things going for him, I think he'll be all right sitting back this week on the Hot 100.
It looks like Katy Perry, Chained to the Rhythm. It's probably peaked at number 4. A lot of questions about that.
Slides back this week. Goes from 19 to 27, so down 8 spots.
Okay. How many weeks has it been on the chart now?
Katy has been on. This is its 9th week.
Okay,
on
so
the chart.
they've all been in the top 40.
Yes.
It's a way to look at it.
Will be interesting again. Another one to see, if there's another song in the works or what they want to do with it.
You guys know the bot. Now we've got a little Springsteen conversation
Springsteen
going.
back and forth.
Nicole likes the boss.
Influencers.
Shout outs.
Yo, Bruce is cool. He's cool.
You know Springsteen songs, right?
Yeah, of course. How many guys can just call a free concert in Jersey and can make $100 million tonight, and play for 6 hours, nonstop.
All right. Well, I think I broke the iPad, so I'm now on a Friends page.
Okay. Well, Gary sorts out his malware issues will.
I think I went back. Hold on. Oh, it's someone who has friends on their on the top of their Facebook page. Here we go.
Cool.
We're back.
Facebook friends. What a concept.
We're back. But I think that is pretty much it for this week. If you guys have more questions, find us on Twitter.
Yeah, give us a shout.
Before I break this more.
Of course, tune in next week, like we said, to see if Ed Sheeran can make it to 13 and climb one step closer to.
Oh, that's right. Not next
We're
week.
not. Oh, there is no next week.
There is a next week.
Well, yeah. The world will actually be ending on Thursday. So.
As far as we know.
Well, yeah. Oh, always. Ooh, too real, Gary. Too real. Yeah. So actually, we won't be on the air next week, unfortunately. Our lovely producer will not be here, so it just doesn't feel right to do without him. So join us here in 2 weeks. So we'll see. In 2 weeks, I mean, it feels like that's plenty of time for a lot of action to happen.
Yeah, we'll be on Twitter though next week. So
Yes.
as soon as we'll post the story about the top 10 on Billboard.com. You can we'll just start tweeting about it and go back and forth about that.
Yep.
The Chartbeat podcast is back with another new episode posting Thursday
Get to hang out with us a little bit more.
here on Billboard.com. We're going to break down Ed Sheeran, Shape of You, even deeper than we've already talked about. We're going to go almost minute by minute through the song and see why it's become such a big hit, really get into the composition of the song. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Like Gary said, we'll be on Twitter next week, and enjoy the 2 weeks till we see you guys again. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.